Hey everybody, morning George, morning Francois, morning Mr. Sharp, Harry, Kimberly, Pat, Arturo, Tara, Larry. Tara, I don't recognize your name. Welcome to the stream. If you want to chat with me, all you got to do, be a subscriber, hit the subscribe button down over there and where the monster is. And a few seconds later, minutes, whatever, moments later, you ought to be able to chat on the live stream while I'm live. Now, if you're tuning into this afterwards, you're going to have to leave a comment or come join us in Discord. Link is in the description. It does cost money for Discord because, well, I spend more time there. You get more of my time, more of my direct back and forth when you're in Discord. So that does cost a little bit of money. Now, that said, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. If you don't have money to lose at this, you should not be playing this game. Remember, if something you're trading is keeping you up at night, you're trading way too big, you need to scale that back, reduce your risk so that you can sleep well at night. I mean, if your risk is such that you got no problem sleeping, then you're in a good spot. Now, past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Anything I predict in the future may never work again. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, and fun. Hope you have fun watching. Otherwise, what's the point? And is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. Like I said, don't get into Discord unless you want more of my time. Time is money. I do require a payment if you want more of my time. Otherwise, you can just come hang out here. Remember to watch the ad because that's how I get payment on YouTube. And if you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. They have a fiduciary duty to take care of you when you hire them. Otherwise, if you use a robo-advisor, God only knows what's going to happen to you. Remember, if you're expecting some guy to take care of you, you're like, I got a guy, manage my portfolio, or I've got a 401 manager, whatever your case may be, and you're like, you know what? They're not going to do as well for you. They don't really care about even the financial advisors that you hire, they had to pass a law that said they have to give you advice based on your financial situation. Because people weren't doing that. They were giving you financial advice based on what worked best for them. And this was a recent law too. Just ridiculousness. Nobody watches out for your money better than you. If you think somebody else is watching out for your money, God help you. Nobody watches out for number one like number one. All right. Morning. Philip, David, Patrick, Valerie, Maurizio, Rick, Craig. Good morning, everybody. Glad you came in. FOMC meeting yesterday. Kind of a dud, right? But we're seeing a pop this morning on the, I guess the mainstream media narrative is its perceived dovishness. I don't know who's moving the market after hours. That's the international response, and some of the algos that are allowed to play overnight. Looking at the calendar, we have GDP coming in, and I need to refresh this again so we get the current number. We've got GDP reading in, coming in a little hot. I don't know. Unemployment claims coming in light. It seems like fairy tale land to me. Definitely be careful. We're probably going to experience some kind of pullback, and it may not even make sense. Like, all the data's good. JT, why did it pull back? Because we were overcooked. I mean, we spent 90 whatever days it has been now in a rally off the March 13th low, and now is the time to be careful. Tomorrow, we have core PCE coming up, employment costs, personal income, personal spending, revised consumer sentiment, and that'll wrap up this week. So be careful. A pullback can come anytime. We didn't break through any kind of resistance this morning. In fact, we're kind of hitting our head. The NQ, the Nasdaq, has a measured bounce set up for going lower. This is a big red flag for me. Until this thing invalidates, let's pop onto the chart and kind of give that a look-see. Check out what we got. Right here on NQ, where is it? Let's pop down, lower time frames. Kind of have to move this around just a little bit, clear off the fib, and clear off this other fib, clear off. Now we run the fib tool from the high the low. Look right here. See that 618 fib? I talk about it all the time. This is a measured bounce setup where we made a move. We did a counter trend move. This was a 3-wave corrective type move. This is a big red caution. Came right to the 1272, which happened to line up right with that 618. If we turn down here, this can be the first move in a larger, much larger move down. Run this. Target for just for the next move down would be somewhere around this 14,009. We probably bounce back up and go on an extension. Now we may come down, do the little thing where we inch it down in here. Then we may get another retrace and a bigger, even bigger decline. So that would just make 3 waves down. We may get a 4th wave and a 5th wave. Then we'd probably get a substantial retrace and a bigger down if this is going to be a bigger correction. This is the first warning sign that we may be in for possibly a correction into the fall. Now, if this invalidates, if this starts breaking back above 16,000, it's all clear. No big deal. No, nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. If we start breaking down below this high, right here, here's your parameters. Here's the box. All right. We break out of the top of that box, probably going higher. We break out of the bottom of the box, watch out below. All right. I own SQQQ already, Mr. Mullins Sledge. Already bought that out to August. Been sitting on it. I was break even yesterday. I'll probably be a little underwater today. I have 10 calls on SQQQ out of the money. They were worth about $1 yesterday. I can tell you the strike when I get back to the computer. I already saw this coming back here when we broke below the roadmap line. I am biased down because this is high probability to go down. All right. I am super cautious. I'm not buying all this dovish, bullish bull crap in the news. The chart pattern right here, this is one of my high probability patterns. This is a money maker. If this works, the entry is really when we break back below this level right here, this big blue line for going lower. The invalidation is when we break above about 16,000. You see where we consolidated right over here. We break back above that, into that and above that, we're probably going higher. So there's the gamble, the dice roll. All right. Now looking at the S&P 500, this is important. Let's look at this really quickly. Remove some arrows so we can see it all clearly. Turn off the roadmap line briefly because it doesn't apply on this chart. This is the S5FI, stocks above the 50-day moving average. If you're unfamiliar, we don't hang out above the 80 for very long duration most of the time. Couple of weeks maybe. We can use our tool to kind of measure it here. You know, that's 26 bars, 26 trading days. Would be a long one. You know, again, right here, 30 trading days. That's a long one. What do we got now? We are sitting at 15. We could do this for another 2 to 3 weeks. Hang out near the top. Be careful. All right. Once we break down, especially if we poke into the mid or high 90s, it increases the odds that we're going to go all the way back down to the bottom of this sucker. Pull all the stocks above the 50-day moving average back down. Is this kind of an oscillator? Yeah, it's kind of an oscillator just based on the market, where the money flows. All right. Something I got my eye on. The fact that we are hanging out up here. And when we zoom it up, look, it's a bunch of red candles. So it's not liking this. Even though this is not really a thing, it's just an accumulation of a lot of things in the market. We're not liking, I mean, this indication is not liking being up here. We see it lots of times. I mean, lots of times we're getting a lot of greens and then we get the large pullback. It's not looking like this one where we just ground up, you know, for hung out here right on the line. I'm not seeing that right now. It's not looking like, you know, this was a spike up and it's doing the same little pattern that we normally see. We may make a head and shoulders type thing and roll over. Cautious, very cautious. This right here, launching right up, getting right near some of these extension targets, 46.49. That's going to push the S&P 500 right up into this goal line price, you know, resistance area, more than likely when we get the open. Watch for that to occur. This is based on daily closes, so really a daily close in this box could mark the top. All right, so the bias for the day may be a little bit bullish and we just get a close right up in this orange box. We'll see what happens here. Could just drop though. Got about 3 minutes to the open. So there you go. There's ES, there's NQ, Russell working on breaking out. This is the test here. Can we break out and push higher? Can we do it? Or is it going to reject, which will result in a bigger move lower? Today is kind of a test. If we can get the close up and then get the continuation tomorrow, this actually looks very positive for Russell and small caps. That's like IWM. Oil, look at this. Golly. Oh, excuse me. All right. Oil, look at that. Right up there. Right up at the first target. I mean, anybody want to argue this stuff doesn't work? I mean, look, right there. Look at that. Touched right to the line. Likely we see a retrace or a sideways. And then we push on up. Now, if it's super bullish, we'll hang out here for 3 or 4 days, and then, which that's already 3 days. If we hang out for another, you know, we could just blast on off tomorrow. Entirely possible that we just, if this is really bullish, we see a ramp up. That fits with a lot of stuff. Gasoline could be headed up substantially. This one looking like it's going to break out and go up pretty big. Huge. Huge, as my orange-haired friend says. This thing could shock a lot of people. And we've already drained the strategic petroleum reserve, so there's no golden bullet in the back pocket on that one. Gold, getting some volatility this morning. We were seeing it popping. Now we're seeing it dropping. That may be on a path back to the roadmap line. Let's turn that back on. We may see gold retrace back down. So far, just holding the box. This other box where we consolidated. We get below that box. You know, 2 days ago we were trying. Closed back in it. Today, moved the whole entire range of the box. If we get below it, probably going back to the roadmap line around 1930. If we get above it, we're probably gonna go try to break out and head on the path to 2200. It's kind of that's the roadmap for gold. I've been saying that for a few days now. Bitcoin looking like we may break back into the consolidation and may go retest the top of the consolidation again. Let's see what happens here. It could extend lower to the roadmap line. If you're a Crypto Unleashed player, there will potentially be a trade coming out here in a little bit. Ethereum, that one looks more bearish. It's a lower high. Looks like it wants to go lower. Can Bitcoin go higher while Ethereum goes lower? You're sure as blanket can. Sure as shoot. Dollar tried to drop out, getting a little retrace. We break above. We're probably going to go to the top of this range. If we reject there again, probably coming on down to the extensions. 98.40 is the next target down. Meta, big mover. And market just opened. Lots of alerts. Look at that, right up to the target. I mean, that was one of the things I said might happen, is that this little pullback, we may pop right up to the gap fill. That was it. What happens next? I don't know. I don't really have an expectation what happens next on Meta. That was what I expected it to do. Come up here, retest this. It's got to tell me what it's going to do next. Now, it hasn't really done any kind of pullback off of this low right here from November, which means it is highly likely to get a bigger retrace after doing this. Now, can it just keep grinding higher? Well, yeah, it can, but look at the past. It tends to get these outsized moves. I mean, it can grind for a while, and then it gets a giant pullback. Grind for a while, bigger pullback. We have to kind of scale the chart here. Doesn't tend to go for a huge long time without getting some kind of bigger pullback. Watch out. All right. That was all I expected it to do. It did it. Time to move on. High probability trades done. ALGN trying to hold this breakout. Maybe like, oh, I can't see that. It's too zoomed out. Trying to hold this breakout. Can it do it? That took a lot of energy. We do have a resistance level right here. Move that up just a hair. See where it found support, found resistance, dropped on out. We haven't made it back up there yet, so 40, that 40-50 area would be the upside, and retesting this breakout would be the downside. We break back into that, watch out below. ASML. Oh, came up so close, filling the gap there. That may result in a move lower, and we could go below the roadmap line. This is definitely played out to the upside, and we may be getting a deeper retrace on ASML. FNGU, probably coming down to the roadmap line. This is leveraged. Be careful, leverage stuff does not always follow my patterns. AVGO, just churning at the top, probably going to get a retrace. SOXX, hanging out at the extensions, also may get a retrace. It can just charge up here for a little bit. That's a sloppy extension. 576 would be the next move up, but I don't know. That's sloppy, that's overlapping, and it needs a retrace to kind of clear it out. I like high probability stuff. I don't like stuff that's like, it doesn't make me feel good, all right? I mean, why are you trading something? Are you trading it because you have to? Trading it because you feel like you're missing out on something? I mean, let's look at 9,000 charts here. We can find where we missed all sorts of moves. So don't feel like you're missing out. Go for the high probability stuff and make the money on the high probability stuff. MDB just kind of churning, not able to do anything here. It pushed up out of the resistance, and it's just not able to perform. It's not able to go retest this. It's not breaking back down. It's not moving much. You know, Nvidia kind of ran out of steam too here at my target range, right around 460. I had that from back in like January. Put this big oval on. People are like, that's crazy. Well, it got there. I expected it to kind of happen out here more, but it happened over here. It happened before I expected, for once. And I do expect a retrace at some point here. I mean, NVIDIA, when you look at the financials, this is what really scares me about NVIDIA. Their price to sales ratio right now is 44. 43.95, but 44. stuff over 20 usually sees retraces up to 70% of their stock value. All right. What would that do to NVIDIA? I don't care what kind of AI revolution we're talking about. 70% drawdown. We're talking about something back to 160, 150, 160. Be careful. I'm saying that has to happen today, tomorrow? No. But a day will come when NVIDIA comes back to reality. It can stay up there for a long time. Now, Royal Caribbean popping out, 120, next extension. It kind of did a bounce right off of that breakout resistance from these highs back here in 2021. It can go on the next extension. That can be up to this 117, 120 area, right up in there. May retrace one more time, but that's the upside target. SMCI keeps on grinding. This one has gone exponential. Exponential stuff tends to go exponential right back down. I don't know how many times to warn you stuff like that. This one, unlike NVIDIA, these guys sell the $20,000 GPUs that NVIDIA makes. And they sell them in computers that have like 10 of them. I mean, their price to sales is only 2.75. Their PE ratio is, pushing it probably for a computer sales company. But they could go higher on their sales. So they're moving a lot of volume in sales. ADBE keeps finding resistance. If it can break out, probably heading up to the next level, 670. CMG, ouch, 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 ouch. A couple weeks ago, we drew this big blue arrow back to the roadmap line, and we're almost there. I think somebody commented that I was full of it. Well, looky here. Here's the gap fill. We may be working on that. Gap fill right back down. SPGI. Looks like it wants to retrace. That's actually... run this really quickly. Oh, look at that. Right to the 100. Back to the roadmap line. If it did that, we can go on and extension land, and that'll actually set up another set of fibs. Let's see. Yeah. It'd be the 1618 and the 1272. That can work. PKX. Watch out, that one can come right back down. Again, exponential up, exponential down. And GLD, I already talked about GLD. Gold, HCA, right back to the roadmap line. There's an interesting thing happening in healthcare. A lot of healthcare did expansion plans on the COVID money. And guess what? All that money went away. The emergency ended. Now we're seeing outsized number of Chapter 11 bankruptcies in healthcare. It's, be careful. Oh, look, Bud. We're breaking out. Bullish on Bud. You know who the biggest, country-wise, you know who the biggest beer maker in the world is? Let me know in the chat if you got a guess. So this is as soon as we break up through here, it's confirmation. Bud probably going up here. I am long Bud. Anybody got a guess? What country is the biggest beer producer? Is it the US? Is it Brazil? Is it China? Is it Japan? Is it Germany? You want to add all of Europe together? I don't know. PI? That looks pretty bad. SIMO. Wow, what a candle. Look at that wicked candle. That's bearish. Be careful. That can go lower. The answer is China is actually the biggest beer producer by a long shot. EW, that's right back to the roadmap line. We can go higher now. That was a beautiful retrace. If it starts filling that gap, well, if it does fill the gap at 91, probably going to break on out. Probably head to 97, then 100. Crocs, right back to the bottom. That was kind of what I expected. After that move, it's kind of a measured bounce. It's not a perfect one like NQ, but that is pretty much a measured bounce that can lead to a much deeper retrace down in this zone. Watch for crux, and then EYE. Ouch. Watch for that one to hold a measured bounce. It's right there. If we start turning up, that can go on a big extension. How big might she go? Run it here. Yeah, right there. You might think I knew how to do this. Anyway, it is China. China is the biggest beer producer. I can pull a chart and throw it in Discord later. Anyway, bias for the day, kind of topping. Kind of expect us to work on this top. We're right at that 46. And look at that, S&P right in the zone. That's it. That's the prediction. The high probability thing's done. What's next? We just gotta wait. Gotta wait for the setup. Could we extend higher? Yeah, we could. Is it likely? Not high probability at this moment. Please be careful. We may roll over, get a bigger, deeper retrace. FNGO was already covered. You have to rewind if you missed it. And I'll see you later. I'll be in Discord. And 1 p.m. I'm going live to talk about the Crypto Unleashed trade that kicked off today. See you guys later, and have a great day. Bye for now.